There is a chart that almost every parent in the United States will see at some point, a colorful schedule filled with boxes and dates. Each box represents a vaccine, a shot meant to protect a child from a disease that once terrified entire generations. At first glance, the schedule looks overwhelming. Polio at 2 months, measles at 12 months, hepatitis B, often given before a newborn even leaves the hospital. It's a list of names that carry dark histories, brain damage, paralysis, and even death. For decades, parents followed this schedule without question. But today, something has changed. A growing number of parents hesitate. They delay shots, skip them altogether, or wonder, does my child really need so many vaccines so early in life? These questions aren't born out of recklessness, but out of fear and confusion. The truth is, this is one of the most important and emotional decisions a parent will ever face. Why is the schedule so intense? And how do we know it's truly the safest way to protect our children? To answer this, we first have to face an uncomfortable reality. Newborns are among the most vulnerable beings on Earth. Their immune systems are like blank canvases, untested and untrained. Inside the womb, babies live in a sterile environment, shielded from the microbial chaos of the outside world. But the moment they're born, they're thrust into a universe teeming with bacteria, viruses, and unseen threats. A simple cough, a contaminated surface, even a casual kiss can expose them to dangerous infections. Respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, is a stark example. Each year, RSV leads to 60,000 to 80,000 hospitalizations in the United States alone, making it the leading cause of hospitalization among infants under 1 year old. For older children, RSV is often nothing more than a cold. But for babies with fragile lungs, it can mean days on oxygen, terrifying nights in the ICU, and for some, lives cut short. After decades of research, a vaccine for RSV was finally approved and added to the infant schedule in 2023. Why? Because waiting until children are older simply isn't an option. For infants, the clock is ticking from the moment they take their first breath. To Jim Campbell from the American Academy of Pediatrics puts it simply, the goal of vaccination is to train an infant's immune system to fight back before it's too late. Each shot is carefully timed to strike a balance between risk and protection based on years of research into both the diseases themselves and how the immune system matures. Every vaccine recommendation starts with two fundamental questions. When is a child most at risk of a particular disease? And when will their body respond most effectively to a vaccine? For example, the measles vaccine is timed between 12 and 15 months because maternal antibodies passed from mother to baby during pregnancy can block the vaccine if it's given earlier. Administered at the right time, however, it's 97% effective at preventing measles, one of the most contagious viruses known to humanity. Still, some parents worry that the sheer number of shots, up to 25 in the first few years of life, might overwhelm a baby's immune system. The reality? Our immune systems are far stronger than we realize. Even newborns encounter thousands of antigens every single day through the air they breathe, the surfaces they touch, and the food they eventually eat. A vaccine adds just a tiny fraction of what the body is already designed to handle. So why not skip vaccines altogether and let children build natural immunity? The price of that choice is devastating. Before the polio vaccine, paralysis struck 1 in every 200 infections. Hepatitis B can lead to lifelong liver disease or cancer, with 90% of infected infants never clearing the virus. Measles hospitalized nearly 50,000 people annually and killed hundreds every single year before vaccines came along. Natural immunity might sound appealing, but it often comes at the cost of a child's health or life. As one expert puts it, the term natural immunity would be more accurately described as survivor immunity. Another source of fear comes not from the vaccines themselves, but from the ingredients inside them. Parents hear words like sodium phosphate or thimerosal and imagine toxins. But the reality is far less alarming. Sodium phosphate is as common as what you find in everyday drinks or foods. Thimerosal, once used as a preservative, was removed from nearly all childhood vaccines in 2001. And even when it was included, the levels were so small that they didn't raise mercury levels in the body at all. One of the most persistent myths is the supposed link between vaccines and autism, a claim that has been thoroughly debunked by 24 independent studies. No credible research has ever found a connection, none. What the data does show, over decades and millions of doses, is that vaccines save lives. Yet even with overwhelming evidence, vaccine hesitancy has consequences. In 2025, the US recorded its highest number of measles cases in 30 years, 3 deaths that could have been prevented. Measles is so contagious that when immunization rates drop, outbreaks happen. We've seen the same pattern for polio, meningitis, and other diseases that were once nearly eradicated. Herd immunity, the invisible shield that protects entire communities, only works when enough people are vaccinated. Look at the data. Charts tracking measles, polio, and Hib infections all show the same dramatic drop the moment vaccines were introduced. These aren't just lines on a graph. They represent children spared from suffering, families spared from heartbreak. The vaccination schedule isn't random or rushed. It's the result of decades of research, countless safety reviews, and the collective expertise of medical organizations around the world. Each shot is one step closer to a future where children don't have to fear the diseases that once shaped entire generations. The confusion and fear surrounding vaccines are understandable, especially for new parents facing an overwhelming number of decisions. But what we know with certainty is that the risks of skipping or delaying vaccines far outweigh any perceived benefit. Every shot given on time is a layer of protection, not just for one child, but for every vulnerable person they may come into contact with. Vaccines are not just medicine. They are hope, science, and love in action. They are one of humanity's greatest defenses against suffering. And while questions will always remain, the evidence is clear. These shots save lives.